In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable!
The last reaction video we did was a viral success. It got tens of hundreds of views. And we figured, hey, if there's such a high demand for it, let's do another one. This video is titled, Rachel Zegler Goes Off After the Simpsons Mock Snow White. A little clickbaity. Channel looks sus, but let's watch it. Here we go.
Excuse me, your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Oh my God.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit
She should have been Snow White. What's her face? Forgot her name.
the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Weird.
I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarfs. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarfs, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just want...
Why would you take out the dwarves? That's the perfect opportunity for you to have some diversity in your movie. Some low-hanging fruit. I didn't mean it like that. They could... It's a saying. It's not because they can't reach high-hanging fruit. That's really dumb. That's real dumb.
Went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there.
Adorable.
If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple.
A wishing apple?
You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
First of all, that's a good impression of Rachel Zegler. That sounds just like her. I feel like this was the final straw. I feel like Disney's going to have to go the exact opposite way. This movie got way too much backlash. It was way too big of a flop. I think it cost, don't fact check me on this, I think it cost like $6 trillion to make and it made a nickel. Yeah, they're going to have to go the complete opposite way. You know, Cinderella's going to be doing anal. I swear to God, watch. Just watch.
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not. First love's kiss can break any curse.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your...
I deserve to be paid for every hour? So what? But how much? You can get 1/10 of a penny? What do you mean?
role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, like, Cry Me a River? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings.
Big mouth Rachel Zegler just got hit with another major embarrassment. this time from The Simpsons. In their next episode, The Simpsons are going straight for the throat with a savage parody of Rachel and her Snow White disaster. The fake movie inside the episode, it's called Snow Woke, the reimagining. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. A total mockery of Disney's failed attempt to modernize a classic. Rachel Zegler is already drowning in bad headlines, fan hate, and box office shame.
It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million.
Right, and then
on Saturday.
Snow White made a nickel.
Snow White made 2.
Oh, 2 nickels.
Minecraft. Yes, a movie about pixelated blocks, completely crushed Rachel Zegler's Snow White.
Yeah, but to be fair, Minecraft is like the biggest thing ever. That was every kid under the age of 12 probably watched that movie. That's not a good comparison. Actually, I'm surprised Minecraft only made $60 million.
And left Disney humiliated. The studio never expected that casting Rachel would end up ruining one of their most iconic fairy tales. People never heard of her until she started running her mouth.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
However,
I'm gonna be sick. First of all, that was the worst acting ever at the beginning, where she's acting like she's sad. I have cracks and I have a lot of them. What the fuck? Oh, I don't like her.
theaters were empty. People filmed themselves walking into showings where they were literally the only ones there.
She reminds me of Alexandria Ocasio.
2 p.m. Now seating. Let's see how empty it is.
This guy has a good voice.
I hope it's off the woke we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people.
It's Minecraft. Oh, no.
1, 2. Okay. 2.
And now, The Simpsons are turning her into a...
Where are all the woke people? Where are all these like people protesting and all the super liberals? Where are they? They don't even support their own people? This movie was made because you guys bitched and moaned about everything for fucking 5 years. And so they're like, all right, fine, here you go. And then you guys don't even go see it. It's kind of like all the women that complain about, oh, the WNBA needs to make as much as the NBA. Okay, so why don't you go watch it? Why don't you attend the games? This is literally, they made this for you. None of them went.
Joke on national TV, a joke that everyone's going to see. Sources close to Rachel say she's furious. She's not laughing, not even close. The cartoon paints her as a tone-deaf, self-obsessed...
She looks like Lord Farquaad, doesn't she?
Girl boss, who's completely out of touch with reality. And let's be honest, a lot of people agree. And as if things couldn't get worse, while the Simpsons are busy roasting Rachel Zegler, she's trying to run from the disaster, escaping the total failure of Snow White.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
I'm getting on across the block here.
Oh, I hate it.
All right.
Rachel Zegler has suddenly gone completely silent, just days after Disney reportedly asked her to pay up for the total disaster that was Snow White. The actress, who's been at the center of massive controversy, has now vanished from the spotlight. No interviews, no...
You can't make her... I guess... Are they saying it flopped because she was running her mouth? Not because it was a shit movie? A terribly written and just garbage movie? That's not why it flopped. No, it's because she talked, she ran her mouth. Pay up. It would have been a huge success.
Social media, nothing.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
This is exactly what critics have been saying for months. And now, Rachel Zegler, already drowning in bad press, is getting dragged by The Simpsons. One of the most...
I did tell you guys in a couple episodes ago, I said they're eating their own. That's what's going on. Eventually they run out of people who will apologize to them, and then they're going to start eating their own. That's what's going on right now.
Legendary shows on TV.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be
laughing at your own.
She's not going to be saved by the prince,
stuff.
and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Weird. For many fans, it wasn't just a take. It felt like she was mocking the very foundation of the classic she was being paid to represent.
She'd be kind of pretty if she wasn't just god-awful. I feel like if she was not god-awful, she'd be a huge star.
The backlash kept growing, especially as more interview clips popped up online. Some people called her bold and modern, but to
Fun fact, I'm sitting so high, my feet don't touch the ground right now. I thought you guys might want to know that.
most, Snow White came off as arrogant, disrespectful, and completely out of touch.
Did the dwarfs
Floating head
make it or
guys.
no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards.
Why?
And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to
Why is it a step backwards? Aren't little people... What? Isn't the whole thing like, you should play your own kind? What the heck?
Magical creatures.
Then they got even crazier and they decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
You're replacing jobs that people could have as little people.
Yeah.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's for dwarfs, you know?
The phrase "girl boss Snow White" started trending
How many
online,
jobs do
and
dwarves
not in a good
get?
way. Suddenly, everything Rachel said was being picked apart. Every quote, every red carpet interview, every public appearance sparked more backlash. Instead of excitement, fans felt like the magic of Snow White was disappearing right in front of them. But one moment made things even worse: her awkward dynamic with co-star Gal Gadot during press events and awards shows. People couldn't help but notice the strange body language between them. And at the Oscars, it was impossible to ignore.
They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, "Yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her." And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, "Good job, Rachel." And then she, like minutes later, followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine."
And isn't
all
her
hell broke
co-star
loose.
Jewish?
Yes, Gal
Oh
Gadot,
my
Gadot,
God.
whatever.
Gadot.
I mean,
She's-
what?
I didn't think of that.
They tried, they flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go
That's
visit personally
hilarious.
with Rachel Zegler to say, could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them
Children's
for like
movie.
your diary and your friends, but like maybe
Your
not, maybe
diary.
just take the tweet down. And she wouldn't.
The film itself wasn't connecting with audiences.
Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
And the evil queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
Snow White hit theaters with Disney's full marketing machine behind it, yet ticket sales were flat. Name recognition couldn't save it, and the movie quickly became one of the studio's most divisive remakes.
Alex, what has been
I
the
feel awful for the poor guy that's gonna marry her, dude. She's gonna ruin someone's life. She's gonna just destroy whoever she ends up with. Is gonna be a shell of a man.
reaction to Disney's latest expensive own goal?
Well, the reaction has been absolutely horrible. It is the worst box office from a Disney live action remake that they've ever done.
I mean, they're projected to lose between 2 and 400 million on this.
That flop is now locked into pop culture thanks to a brutal Simpsons parody. Classic Springfield sarcasm that slices straight to the bone. What should have been Rachel Zegler's breakout moment turned into a case study in how a bold rebrand can spiral into overreach. Whether you agreed with her modern spin or hated it, the storm around this film made sure her Snow White will be remembered for all the wrong reasons.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion, but the reality is she's just not stable.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
When the buzz died down, the numbers told the story. The box office haul was weak, and the IMDb score collapsed to 1.6, one of Disney's worst ever. Viewers didn't just skip the film, they celebrated its crash, flooding social media with memes and Reddit threads titled, "How Not to Market a Movie." Then, things got weirder. A fake OnlyFans account using an AI image of Rachel went viral in hours. It was phony, yet thousands believed it. Proof her public image had slipped so far that even an absurd rumor felt plausible.
Dude. The movie is doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million, and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
The movie has a major identity crisis.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime. And let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminist alternative.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension: racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
Hollywood noticed. Casting calls that once highlighted her name quietly moved on.
I don't like it.
Projects rumored to star her stalled or recast. In a single year, she fell from Disney's next big thing to a brand
looks like
risk.
Lord Farquaad.
Her very public breakup with actor Josh Andrés Rivera added fresh headlines, feeding the narrative of a young star unraveling under pressure. And just as the dust began to settle, The Simpsons struck. Their episode, Snow Woke the Reimagining, features Rachel Z, who bans princes, lectures villagers, and watches her movie bomb in an empty theater before melting down on Krusty the Clown's show. When Springfield turns you into a punchline, you've crossed from celebrity to spectacle. There's still time for a comeback. Hollywood loves a redemption arc, but the climb is steep. Box office disaster, public backlash, and studio silence have cracked Rachel's image wide open. Now,
that's what you get. That's what you get. This is the thing about the woke mob. You know, they're like a swarm of locusts. They just destroy everything in their path. But the frustrating thing is they don't believe any of the things they say. They don't feel the way they tell you they feel. These people aren't out for equality. They're not upset about a law Donald Trump made, and they're not upset about feminism, and they're not upset about abortions. They just want a voice. They just want to make an impact and make a splash and get reactions. The best way to get reactions out of people when you have nothing to say is to be mean to them. They don't have anything productive to say. They don't have any ideas, but they want us to listen to them. They're narcissists. They think they should be the center of attention, but they have nothing to say. So they bully. Everything you like is bad, and you're bad for liking it. They'll change their mind. They'll flip-flop. They don't care. But as we see here, we've put up with it for so long that Americans are getting tired of it. There's very few people left. And they're going to lose all of those too. They're going to eat themselves, and the swarm is going to die out. They're running out of food. So it's almost over, everyone. We're almost back to doing blackface in movies. Hey, that was fun. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and let us know if you have any other things you want me to react to. And most of all, I love you. I'll catch you next time. Jump off this chair. Like a flock of locusts. Flock? Siri. What is a group of locusts called?